Alright guys, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends annual anniversary prediction video. I put these out every year just as a speculation, just to go ahead and hype up the crowd. However, I do want to put out that, take this video with a grain of salt. Just because I put it out and I spoke it into the universe doesn't mean that it's going to happen. All we're doing is that we are deducing based off of what has happened in the past, what has been provided to us by the devs and the game itself. These are breadcrumbs that have led up to kind of some substantial guessing and prediction. So for the second year, I'm going to go ahead and roll all the way back for the second year anniversary. And we had Goku and Omega Shenron along with Vegito Blue. And then we had Zamasu, Trunks, and Vegito Blue as well. So that doesn't tell us much about anything really, because there wasn't much of a rhyme or pattern before the second anniversary, before the second anniversary happened, right? So, we didn't know that Vegito Blue was coming out. We didn't know that Super Saiyan Rage Trunks was coming out. We didn't know that Zamasu was coming out. We didn't know about these two either. We didn't know it was a GT versus Future theme. However, what we can say is that starting the second year anniversary is when we started having dual themes, when we started having a versus arc, arc versus, I mean. So what can that tell us about that is that we should anticipate having two banners as we have usually had for the first part of the anniversary. Now, for the third year anniversary, before we get there, in March, we saw Super Saiyan 4 Goku LF come out. Now, granted, he wasn't an amazing character, but however, he was still an LF, right? Now, that was an interesting little breadcrumb that came out, and it started coming out that, oh, maybe it's a GT buff again. Maybe it's another, maybe it's a fusion buff. Maybe we're going to see Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Then this came out May 11th, right? Which is the Legends of Future. This is before the anniversary drop, like literally right before, I want to say. And this is all Future, as we see. Every single unit here has a Future tag. What happened? For the anniversary, we had a Future theme with a random Kefla in there. And we had Gogeta come out with GT team, right? It was a GT buff. So interestingly enough, these two kind of gave us a little bit of a heads up of what was to come. Now, for the second part of the anniversary, we got to see Revival Gohan, right? Which was probably the most toxic time of the meta ever. Now, the thing is that this unit itself, or this banner itself, had nothing to do with part one. So it merits to say that the second part of the anniversary will not have anything to do with part one moving forward. Okay, this is the first time that they integrated a second part to the anniversary step up banners. Now, I didn't put it on the thumbnails here. I didn't open up a tab. But in November and Christmas, we got to see Goku Vegeta, Spirit Hope Trunks, and both of those units came out during Black Friday. Then around Christmas time, we saw Ultra Super Saiyan Gogeta. That unit had nothing to do with the first two arcs. So keep that in mind, is that it feels like this is going to kind of be Legends formula moving forward. So where does that leave us? We are in April. Well, yeah, basically we're in April. This is March. I'm recording this on March 31st. So this was dropped last night. Okay, and this is running all the way up to August 1st, interestingly enough, which is really weird. But we've got Whis, our first Sparking Whis, and then we've got Golden Frieza from the Tournament of Power. What does that tell us? That tells us absolutely nothing other than we're going to go ahead and predict. And my prediction is that, quite frankly, I do not think that Mastered UI is coming for the first part of the anniversary. And before you throw up in arms, I do want to say that there is two scenarios that can happen. The first scenario being probably what I think would be the most probable is that we see a Battle of Gods, Battle of Gods theme versus, because we don't have, other than Super Saiyan, these Super Saiyan gods are the only ones that we have, right? And obviously this one's the most outdated one. This one's got a Zenkai. This one, I mean, we're not even going to get to that conversation, right? But then there's literally no representation from the God of Destruction Beerus Saga. We've literally only got, what is that, six tags. Now, granted, this Whis has nothing to do with this, but that doesn't mean it has to. You know, it can kind of start, you know, giving us a little bit of a heads up of what to expect. Now I do have the anime originals tab pulled open because I don't know. It could go one of two ways. It could go that if we do have a God of Destruction Beerus Saga drop, as far as with an LF Super Saiyan Godku, it could be that it is the God of Destruction Beerus Saga tag, or it could be a movie saga tag, or it could buff anime originals saga tag. Now, granted, there's not much representation here, but what that could do is it could resurrect Bardock. It could resurrect Super Saiyan Blue. I mean, Super Saiyan Bardock, the Blue Zenkai version, which are he's still pretty good. Bardock is a little situational, but he's still really good. It's just a matter of how you use him in the meta, because right now the meta is running a much different, a much different team, right? A much different build. So. And then on top of that, we might see Frieza resurrected Saga, particularly because of the newly released Whis. And then we just had Goku and Vegeta released not too long ago. And on top of that, the banner itself has a golden Frieza. Now, granted, this is from the universe, the Tournament of Power Saga, right? However, I do believe that we should be due for a new Golden Frieza, specifically from the Resurrected movie saga. Now, the thing is that what they could do is create an entirely, massive chaotic, PvP world where the new Golden Frieza or whatever it is, or the new Goku, whatever it is, buffs movies. And then this new Super Saiyan Godku buffs movies as well. I can anticipate the meta would go broken. I don't see that being a high probability, but it could happen. Part 2, as we remember from last year, is that this Gohan had nothing to do with Part 1. So I'm anticipating that Part 2 is going to be our Ultra character. In particular, the Universe Survival Saga characters. And in particular, it would be Mastered UI Goku. I think that at this point here, potentially, they might Zenkai... Where is he? They might Zenkai Android 17 or Jiren. Or both. It just... or Toppo. Right? These three have... they tend to have really good viability. Or even Kefla. They tend to have good viability, but there's a lot of holes that could be patched. But in particular, the Ultra it just makes sense. Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. Now that's scenario 1. Scenario 2 could be that they bamboozle everything and they have Ultra Instinct Goku, Mastered UI Goku as the LF for Part 1, and Part 2 could be the Frieza Saga, the Resurrection F movie, and they would just throw off whoever the Ultra is gonna be, which who knows what it is, what's it gonna be, right? So my anticipation that it is going to stay a Saiyan. It is not gonna be a Frieza. It is not gonna be a God of Destruction, or full power. It is going to be a Saiyan. Now, what Saiyan they choose in particular, I'm not, we don't know. We can speculate to the cows come home, right? But we don't know. But it's going to definitely be a Saiyan. And of course, we had Gogeta And then we just had Super Saiyan God Kaioken Goku. It could be potential that it could be Vegeta. Um, excuse me, guys. There could be a potential that maybe it's a Gohan who hasn't gotten a lot of representation as an adult. Not necessarily as a teen, because obviously, or, as a child, because we've got this guy who's still really toxic, but we don't have much representation from Gohan adult, right? I mean, that's a long shot. That really is a long shot, and I don't see that happening for another year or two, but it could happen. So that's my predictions. Based off of the breadcrumbs that we've been seeing. It's not a lot, because we know that Legends tends to be a little bit tight-lipped. So we have to kind of, just kind of theorize as best as possible, and then for all we know, we get bamboozled and they put out something that has nothing to do with anything that we anticipated. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, whether you agree or disagree, what you think the next two banners are going to be for the anniversary. Remember, moving forward in anniversaries, I think that they're going to stick to this formula where it's two banners, similar to Dokkan, where they have two banners. And it's going to be kind of this versus banner, right? Because Legends tends to have this storyline that you could follow where, Merge Zamasu is being fought by Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So I think that they're going to follow that formula. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.